Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 26 of my favorite debut albums of all time, the top debut albums of all time, as picked by us, myself, and all of you, playing together each and every day. We're doing it each and every day here this month in October. 31 days in the month, our 31 favorite debut albums. A really tough assignment. A lot of really, really great debuts, as we've already seen, and more to come. Can't mention all of them. A lot of them won't get mentioned just because you can only fit 31 albums in 31 days, right? One per each day. That's the format. So today for pick number 26, let's go all the way back to March 8th, 1974 for an album produced at the Record Plant Studios in New York City. Produced by Wally Gold for Kirshner Records here in the States, Epic Records in Europe. I'm talking about the debut self-titled album from Kansas. Cover painting by John Stewart Curry, of course. Classic painting there. This is a debut album by a band who came from a place that you don't normally hear of. Lots of bands coming and playing progressive rock and hard rock, right? It just doesn't really work that way. They didn't really look the part either, right? There they are wearing their overalls and just dressed like, out in the country, right? Living out in the farm. But yeah, they played some serious music behind, of course, this John Brown themed cover painting here, right? So in the band, the classic lineup: Steve Walsh on piano, organ, Fender Rhodes electric piano, lead and backing vocals, Kerry Livgren guitars, piano, organ, Moog synthesizer, backing vocals, Robbie Steinhardt violin, lead and backing vocals, Rich Williams all sorts of guitars, Dave Hope bass and backing vocals, and Phil Ehart on drums. So of course you might be thinking, oh well, that's a little unique. A violin in a rock group. Yes, certainly. It was done, but not a regular occurrence that you would see all the time. And it would be one of the signature aspects of Kansas' music going forward, of course, whether it be Robbie in the band or whoever to follow. That would be one of the things that really stood out. There they are again. That's a great shot from the album, right? Of course, Rich Williams towering over everybody else. He's a big man. I met him in person once. He's a big dude. So this album is where it all began for the band, as they pretty much, in 1974, not a lot of U.S. bands doing prog rock, right? The Brits and the Italians and the Germans and the French, that's generally maybe up in Canada as well. Those are mostly the countries where you're hearing all the classic prog coming from at the time. So Kansas really were one of the first here in the States to kind of say, okay, well, I accept that. I love that. We're going to do our own version of that. We're going to blend in some of our hard rock and blues and boogie roots as well, and come up with this new style of American progressive rock. And that's basically what you get here. It starts off with, Can I Tell You Something? Dun, dun, got to have you one thing. So the first song, Can I Tell You, written by Steve Walsh and a couple other guys in the band. This is more of a hard rock tune, but with some nice progressive touches. Some really, really nice violin on this particular song. Robbie sings this one. Excellent opening track. Bringing It Back is a J.J. Cale cover, also sung by Robbie. Yeah, it's kind of like a bluesy boogie song, right? Not one of my favorites on here, but Kansas would do usually one or two of these types of songs on a lot of most of their first couple of albums, right? Leading up until Left Overture, that's kind of when it would end. But the first few albums all have at least one or two little kind of boogie, bluesy, hard rock songs. Lonely Wind, written by Steve Walsh and sung by Steve. Gorgeous song. Absolutely gorgeous song. That's, where they do that kind of atmospheric, expansive, very melodic prog rock, right? Lonely Wind is excellent. Then Belexis, of course, written by Kerry, sung by Steve. That is a older track brought over from Kerry's first band, right? The kind of the protocol thing, the pre-Kansas band. Belexis is absolutely terrific. Just, again, the high energy, but great keys and guitars. Just a great song there. And then, of course, their early magnum opus, Journey from Maribyrnong, co-written by Kerry and Steve, sung by Steve. Journey from Maribyrnong is an absolute progressive rock classic. Amazing, amazing song. Like one of their great prog rock little mini epics, right? Because Kansas didn't do really, really long songs, right? This one is just about 8 minutes long. It's one of the longer ones. They were not a band to do like 10, 15, 20-minute epics. That just wasn't their thing. Over on side 2, you have The Pilgrimage, another really cool song written by, you know, a lot of co-writing early in the career of these guys. So Kerry and Steve co-writing, Steve singing this one. Then you have, to me, the closing 2 numbers, which kind of segue right into each other, and I always kind of think of them together, and that's Apricot and Death of Mother Nature Suite. Both are terrific. And, you know, here, again, I said they don't do really long songs, but here you've got Apricot is just under 10, and Death of Mother Nature Suite is just under 8, so right between the two of them, you've got roughly 18 minutes there. Just so good. Lots of twisting time signature changes, great keyboards. You got, you know, organ and piano and amazing Moog synthesizer with these blistering guitar runs. And then it's funny, as like Apricot is like all big and symphonic and busy and just, you know, got elements of Yes and Genesis and Gentle Giant, because of course that's what the band were listening to leading up to this. And then as it moves into Death of Mother Nature Suite, you got that amazing dark heavy riff, just so good. Great atmospheric sections, amazing vocals from both Steve and Robbie on here, and just a great way to end the album. I think for me, it's like you've got Apricot, Death of Mother Nature Suite, Journey from Marybond, Alexis, Lonely Wind. Can I Tell You? That's why this is a classic album. That's why this is being mentioned here. Would they do better albums going forward? Yeah, but this is still a great debut for them, and I think one of the underrated gems in their catalog. In fact, I know plenty of people who consider this the greatest Kansas album. I can't say I argue too much. It's always a top. You know, it's hard because you got Point of No Return and Left Overture. You always have to include them. Song for America, Mask, right? And this. Those are the must-have, can't-miss Kansas albums. Just so good. And any of them could be my favorite any given day, right? Just so good. In fact, for me, really the only song I don't really care for all that much on here is Bringing It Back. I mean, it's okay. I just don't want it. It's a good song, right? But it's just, on here, it's kind of weird. But everything else on here is just absolutely tremendous. So let's take a look at charts. So obviously, when it came out, this didn't move the needle all too much. Because most people listening to progressive rock, right? It's 1974, you know, Yes, and Genesis, and King Crimson, and, you know, Rush's starting to hit, Pink Floyd, certainly, Jethro Tull, all these bands, ELP, all these bands are doing big business. And then you got this little band from here just kind of starting out, right? So this only made it to 174 on the Billboard charts. However, within the band's next couple of albums, interest is starting to grow very quickly, and certainly by Left Overture and Point of No Return, the band becomes huge. They become pretty much like a, you know, arena/stadium band, and they're selling lots of millions and millions of records. But this album eventually did go gold up in Canada, 50,000 units sold, and it went gold here in the States, 500,000 units sold, 500,000 copies. So this is one of those like kind of slow growers after the fact, which is pretty cool. And as far as like singles released from the album, we did have a couple here. Let's see. So we've got Can I Tell You was released May 1974, and Lonely Wind February 1975. So the following year they released Lonely Wind as a single. Lonely Wind's kind of a can't miss that for me, that would be the choice of the single on here. So, but yeah, that's my pick for today. Kansas self-titled debut from 1974. Let us know what you think of this debut down in the comments below, but as well as your pick for today. Pick number 26, and we'll see you tomorrow for number 25. Till then, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility channel memberships button is also down there as well for those of you who'd like to help out the channel and join up with a membership. There's so early in the morning. There are two different membership options, so go check those out. And thank you in advance for all your support, folks. And we'll see you soon here with more stuff. We got ranking the albums, our top 10 favorite albums from Poco, Grant, Arthur, and myself. That's coming up in just a little bit. And then look forward to tonight. We've got Rich Catino coming back for our little monthly sit-down, talking about new wave of traditional heavy metal bands. We've got 5 more newish bands for you guys to check out that we're going to talk about. So stay tuned for that. That'll be this evening. And Tuesday is In the Prog Seat, our favorite albums, progressive metal albums from the 1990s. So that's all coming up on Tuesday. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.